here read The Four Agreements?
Yes.
Awesome. Amazing book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's by Don Miguel Ruiz, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Awesome. It's a quick read, 150 pages, it'll change your life. So, Four Agreements, the last agreement is called Always Doing Your Best. And I thought it really matched well with the topic for this week because we're talking about effort. And you know, effort can be different. Effort can be a 50% effort. Effort can be a 25% effort. Effort can be 100% effort. Effort can be 150% effort. So where your effort levels are at are always determined by your output, your work, your integrity to your word, and how hard you're going to work. And what I loved about the chapter is it started off with talking about that your best and your effort will always be different. You know, think about a workout. You wake up in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and you roll out of bed and do, you know, some workout. You're not going to be as strong as if maybe you had a meal, got some good protein, obviously Herbalife, and then went into the workout later in the day after your body was fueled. So now your best is different. And the same thing, are you going to do better on a test that you studied for? Are you going to do better on a test that you got a good night's sleep before? The night before, are you going to do better on a test where you got no sleep, you're stressed out, you're strung out on coffee? Like your best is going to change at different parts in your life. But the difference is it talked about always giving your best in any situation. So now that we know that our best will fluctuate, just like our energy, just like our motivation personally, it does fluctuate. We are human beings, we're not machines. So now that we know our best will fluctuate, now we get to decide how much of it and how much focus we're going to give to it. Because even if our best can be 100% say for our time right now, we still got to show up at that 100%. Even if that's C- on the test, with your 100%, you still have to show up at a C- with no sleep. Because if you don't show up with the no sleep, it goes down to 50%. So now we start talking about operating at our best potential ever. So who here is ever in a situation given less than 100%? Awesome. So we can all relate, myself too. And it comes down to, I like to compare it to, there's two things I love. When I first came into this community, somebody said this thing and it made so much sense. It was Heather Short. She said, how you do anything is how you do everything. And I love that because you can't compartmentalize life. Who here has ever heard that if you're going to sweep a floor and be a floor sweeper, be the best floor sweeper ever? Has anybody ever heard that saying? It's like, if you're going to be a floor sweeper, you better be 100% floor sweeper. You got to give it your all because the same mindset you put into that is the same mindset you put into your job, that you put into your family, that you put into your relationships, that you put into yourself. So now we're getting into that how you do anything is how you do everything because the mindset that you do one thing with does not change from thing to thing. Have you ever noticed anybody? I want you guys to think in your life. Think of that person who you really think, man, that person is on. You know that woman, she has 3 kids, amazing job, a home, very educated, impactful. Or that guy, he's working hard, he's always in shape, he's living the life of his dreams, he's got that amazing home. I want you to think about those people. And I want you to think about how they do the little things. That's all I want you to think about. I want you to think about how that successful person in your eyes does the littlest of things. How do they keep their home clean? How do they maintain themselves grooming-wise? How do they maintain their fitness? How do they maintain their car? How do they deal with the small tasks at work? Because I bet you 9 times out of 10, they take just as much care with the little things as they do with the big things. Because it comes back to effort and the mindset. And I love it because it comes back to get-tos versus have-tos. It's one of the biggest things I've been learning in this community is get-to versus have-to. If you've noticed, a lot of the coaches on the team will use a lot of this vernacular get-to. We get to be a contribution. We get to get in the best shape of our lives. We get to pay it forward. Because there's nothing in this life that's a have-to except being born and passing away. That's the only 2 things that are a have-to in this universe. Everything else you do from the time you're born to the time you leave this body is a get-to. So when you think about operating at your best, and you think about doing your best in every single situation, it's a get-to. Nobody tells you you have to be your best. Nobody tells you you have to give your 100%. Nobody tells you you have to play at that level. But you get the opportunity to. You get the opportunity to play full out. You get the opportunity to maximize your abilities. You get the opportunity to be the best version of yourself on a daily basis. And it comes back to the reason you were put here on this universe, on this planet from the universe. You were not put here to be 50%. There's nobody in this room right now that the universe puts you here and said, you know what? You're supposed to be a 50%. You're supposed to be a 50% person. You're not supposed to be any more than that. I'm going to give you all these talents and abilities, but you know what? I only want you to use half of those. That's not the universe's intention for you. So we get to be 100%, and it comes down to the beautiful decision we were given of how we get to use our talents, our efforts, our energy. And when you think about that, you think about there's different kind of lives that you can live. There's different quality of lives. Because I'm going to tell you, the 100% effort person and the 50% effort person, they live two different lives. Even though they're both human beings, even though they both live on planet Earth, they can both live in the United States, they can both live in Los Angeles, they can both have the same name. It doesn't matter, but they'll live a completely different life because when you operate at your 100%, that's when you're your happiest. I want you guys to think about something you love. Like, is it drawing? Is it art? Is it dancing? Is it music? Is it working out? Is it teaching? Is it reading? I want you guys to think about one thing you love that no matter if you don't get paid for it, it's not a monetary compensation thing. It's not your job. It's your passion. And I want you guys to think about what happens to you when you're 100% in your passion. 100% in your passion. The reason I started health coaching is because I love health coaching, period. I was health coaching before health coaching. Health coaching is being in shape, helping others get in shape, and being a positive impact on your community. How many health coaches out there that don't even know they're a health coach? I just want to slap a 24 on them. But it's like that get you. Like when I'm in health coaching mode, which is all the time, I feel 100%. Even if I'm not at my best will fluctuate. Sometimes, maybe I do 40 push-ups instead of 50. Then my best is going to fluctuate, but my 100% effort never fluctuates because of the way I feel like that. I want you guys to think about that 100% feel. That get to versus that have to. When you're at your job and you feel like you have to do this because you're doing it for a paycheck, you're doing something for the reward, not the reason. You're doing something not because you love. I found myself, I was a physical therapist, I found myself doing documentation most of the time, and I was like, this isn't what I'm passionate about. I'm not passionate about writing down about exercise, I'm passionate about doing exercises. And then I found when I was in the mode, when I was deep working with clients, or deep working with patients, or now when I got introduced to Fit Club, I got to introduce myself to 100% again. And it was like a mind-blowing experience because I was like, man, this is what I love to do. And I get to do this. And I want you guys to think about what does that get to do in your life. Because there's no reason why your get to do has to be a 5%. Has to be a 10% of your life. Like, oh, I only get to do my favorite passionate thing on the weekend. No, you get to be your 100% all week long. You just get to design your life to make it so. If you love pottery, if you love fitness, if you love health, if you love music, if that's where your 100% is, you get to find a way to make that 100% of your life. Because I'm going to tell you, when you operate in that, that is your soul's curriculum, your life's journey. And if you don't, you'll find that life isn't as fun. I want you guys to think about that job that's 50%. You only give me 50% right now. Because I was there, I was giving my job 50%, I was checked out at the job. I was like, I would have all my clients and patients be on this thing we call the New Step. It was like a elliptical sitting down. Like, yeah, go over there, Miss Susan. Because I was checked out. Because I wasn't passionate about the New Step. I wasn't 100% about the New Step. That wasn't that fun to me. But when I came to Fit Club, I got really fired up. Because I found that 100% thing. I found where I could be 100% at a time, and the difference became how I felt when I gave 100%. And then it started spilling over into other things in my life. I would come to the nutrition club. They're like, who wants to do press deep bathroom? Aubrey, because I'm feeling 100%. Who wants to clean up the board? Aubrey, I'm feeling 100%. Who wants to, think about a new structure for wellness workshop? Aubrey, I'm feeling 100%. Because it started spilling over into other parts of my life. When you give 100% to this part of your life, this part of your life starts getting it too. So I challenge you guys this week. I want you guys to think about where in your life, because everybody has a place in their life right now where they give 100%. The difference is some of us have different amounts of our life that we give 100% to. I used to give 100% to 2/7 of my time. If you know what that means, that was my weekend. Saturday and Sunday, I was giving 100%. Friday night, maybe 2.5. And then the other days, it was 50%. because I wasn't passionate about that. But I know everyone in here has somewhere where they have 100%. In the gym is where I found some of mine. Nutrition and fitness is where I found some of mine. Wellness, motivation, education, prevention, education, that's where I found some of mine. And at first it was only 2 sevens, 2.5 sevens. And then I made it a little bit more, a little bit more. And the more I made it a part of my life, the better my life was. And it wasn't the income. It wasn't because I was like, I want to make this a part of my life for some more income. I wanted to make it more a part of my life because of the way I felt when I did it. You know, so many times as we grow older in life, there's so many things I had to let go. Playing basketball, little things like that. Like, I love basketball. It was like one of my first loves. When I played it, I was like, that was my 100%. But as I got older, I had to get a job, right? I ended up getting 3 jobs, right? I had all this school and all these other things to do. I had to drop basketball. So now I had less things in my life that I was operating at 100%, you know, giving it to myself. And as we age, we start to settle for a lot of the 50%, because I'm going to tell you guys that 50% will pay your bills. The 50% will pay your bills. You will make a living on 50%. The 100% will find you your dreams. The 100% will, you know, provide for your family. The 100% will give you abundance. You just get to find your 100%.